Secretos con los Maestros. Dr. Vitaly Zholtikov.
Okay, so here we are with a very special friend coming all the way down from St. Petersburg, Russia, to Colombia, to Bogota, Colombia, for the course Rhinoplasty with the Masters of the Face and Nose Institute. Vitaly, we're so happy to have you here with us. Your lectures have been amazing. This has been an incredible learning process for all of us.
Thank you very much, Roxana, first of all, for your great invitation, because, for me, it's quite far, but because of you, I am here. Yeah, it means you are so impressive person, and for all of us in rhinoplasty world, and because of you, we are ready to go to travel through the oceans, over the oceans, and we are here finally. Not only me.
You honor me, really, because honestly, when I told people I was going to invite Vitaly Zholtikov, many of my colleagues here were like, "Who is Vitaly Zholtikov?" And I said, well, wait until you meet him and wait until you listen to his lectures, and then you will understand. And everybody is like, wow, now we know who Vitaly Zholtikov is. Okay. And one of the things that I would tell them that I would like you to explain a little bit more, because a good part of your population, we in Latin America and in Colombia speak a lot about the mestizo rhinoplasty, the thick skin noses. But then you've got this huge population in Russia that has not only the big noses, but also ultra thick skin noses. So why don't you give us, what has been your concept to be able, and your strategies to able to treat these patients?
That is really interesting question, Roxana, because if you just imagine the size of the country, you will see that it's a huge country, and we have more than 120 nationalities there. In eastern part, we have patients, they look like Chinese patients. Yeah? In western part, we have patients, they look like Caucasian patients. It's very thin skin. In south part of the country, we have a lot of patients, they similar to Iranian patients or Mediterranean patients. Because of that, surgeons who perform rhinoplasty in our country should perform any type. It's not just for Latin patients. You also have different patients, by the way. I saw that some of your patients have thin skin, some thick skin. And the same with us. We should perform different type of rhinoplasty. Another way, you will not get enough work in your practice. Why? Because many of our local patients, they have no such big problems, who lives in the central part of the country. And in St. Petersburg, for example, where I'm from, they have not such big problems with the dorsum, for example. They mostly have problems with the tip, breathing or something like that. And because of that, we should adopt our techniques for them as well.
And for example, what tips can you give younger surgeons when they start working and they live in communities that have such a diverse population?
Not be married on one technique. Just one advice that I would like to give to not only our surgeons, and for your surgeons as well, because I know many young surgeons who started to do just one technique, for example, only preservation, for the dorsum and for the tip, and then they are not successful with the practice. Why? Because they got a lot of problems during that. I absolutely sure that every surgeon should know how to reconstruct the dorsum, how to treat it conservatively, how to perform any type of preservation techniques. It means the learning curve now is much longer because of the difference of technique. For example, when we studied, and you as me, we just performed resection and then reconstruction for the dorsum, and nothing more. And very few techniques were developed, well developed for the tip, for example. Now we have much more techniques, and everyone should know how they worked and apply regarding the problem. That is the key, I think. If you know how to choose right key for every look, you will be more successful in your practice. That is the answer.
I think that is a very valuable advice. And today, listening to your lecture on the approach to the dorsum, the augmentation techniques, it was really interesting to note that you spoke about the high spreader grafts and all of your philosophy on the high spreader grafts. And I think that is something that most people either don't understand or they don't, because everybody has this concept that the spreader grafts have to be left at the level of the dorsum or hidden. And suddenly you're coming here and you're showing a technique to augment the dorsum that is completely different.
Yeah, but interesting. I presented this technique in the beginning of the year in Brazil, and many colleagues, they already performed that. I mean, they started to perform not in this year, they started perform 2 years ago, for example, and they didn't know from whom they got this technique. It's interesting. Then we discussed this, for example, Fräulein Paes, he told me, no, it's not you described this technique. Someone described, I don't remember. It means it's interesting that every good thing very fastly spread among the surgeons, and then every surgeons, many surgeons start to perform it. I mean, advanced surgeons start to perform it, and now it doesn't look like something strange. For some people, it really looks different. For some people, it's already in their practice. And I just told you that I first time was in India 3 years ago. Nobody performed that technique. Now, many of the colleagues, they came to me and they present their results, how they apply this technique. I mean, because they need to use very predictable technique for dorsal augmentation, and they already have questions how to improve the technique. I mean, it spread very fast, very fast. In 3-4 years, I think everyone who knows how to augment knows this DCA for solid trip will know how to perform high spreaders.
Well, that's really neat. And then you come out with something even more revolutionary, and those are the contour skin sutures. And that is, I could see at the audience. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time for more questions. But I mean, why did you think that type of sutures could work? Why did you decide that was something you wanted to introduce in your patients?
It's interesting story, Roxana. I started to use this type of suture in periorbital area because I perform also some facial rejuvenation procedures in periorbital area in 2005. Yeah, I mean 20 years ago. Wow. In periorbital, and then I found that interesting that I didn't saw any steps after these sutures. Then I very slowly applied this concept to the nose. I started to put one stitch on one side and another stitch on one side 10 years ago. 20 years ago in periorbital. And then I moved forward. I found that patients with such type of stitches, sutures, they faster recovery, they get faster recovery, they get better definition. And I found that I can apply a little bit more. I add 2 more stitches. Then I add 2 more, and then finally 5 years or 6 years ago, I started to put around 10 stitches on the surface. And now in some cases, I can place 10 on one side. Yeah? It means it was very long way. It was not just, it happened, I got up and decided what I need to use these stitches.
Now, people are freaking out because people are saying, are these stitches going to leave skin marks?
They can try very slowly, as I had in my practice, because I again 20 years ago I applied them for blepharoplasty, and now I can apply them completely around the nose without any problems. But you know that to destroy technique, it's very easy. Destroy technique is very easy. You just need to perform something wrong. Yeah? And what is the problem? I found that every surgeon try to make his own modification immediately.
Exactly.
Immediately.
Now,
immediately. It means they don't repeat it. And if during modification process they get some problems, it will be not because of the technique. It will be because of their creative minds. Yeah. Only that.
Now you have a wide array of techniques, and your population is very diverse. For the younger surgeon, what tips or recommendations can you give them, especially for those who are starting their rhinoplasty careers? I mean, tips, things they can use. I mean, what has been good for you when you started? What did you use? That
is the most important issue. You should learn always. That is the, I mean, tip that you cannot stop. If you just take a look on the Dean or
Yeah.
Ishida, I mean, they also change their technique every year. I mean, that is the style of life. Okay? Young surgeons should understand that the rhinoplasty is the way. It is not goal. It is a way.
Yeah.
If he start in his practice this way, he should learn always and should learn. It's only possible to learn on his own mistakes. That is the key. I mean, I cannot give wise advice, for example, to do that, and you will never get problems.
Exactly.
You will anyway get problems. And I like this proverb of Vasily Paidin. He told this proverb many times that after first 100 rhinoplasty in your life, you should change city.
Okay.
It means
That
you
is-
anyway get
yeah.
problem. Anyway,
Yeah.
but you should be open mind, learn always, whole your life. And it's only one way to improve your results and to get better always. Yeah?
Well, Vitaly, thank you so much. I mean, it's like we should do longer podcasts because I mean, this has been incredible, and hopefully, you know, we will have you here in Colombia again. Hopefully, not in the very far future.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much,
coming.
Alexander. Thank you for invitation again. It's honor for me to be here. Yeah?
Secretos con los maestros. Dr. Vitaly Zholtikov.